At my backyard, I have like a mini farm where I grow ugu and pepper and scent leaves. The scent leaves just have been doing so well. It's barely 2 or 3 months since I planted them, and you can see the scent leaves, they are doing good. There are some at the other end. I'm just going to be taking some to make this recipe. You can get scent leaves easily from the market. This is pepper and these are the scent leaves, and there are some other at the other end of this will I call it a ridge or whatever. So scent leaves are optional for this recipe, but they add extra flavor to your food. For this recipe, we'll be using achicha. Achicha is dried cocoyam or ede, and we'll also be using akidi, which is like black beans. We are also going to be using onions. The beauty of every achicha and akidi recipe is onions. If you don't like onions, you might not really enjoy this meal, except you just like it like that. You also need ukpaka or abaka, whichever it is called in your dialect. You'll be needing habanero, Scotch bonnet peppers for this recipe, and you'll also be needing scent leaves. Scent leaves are optional, ukpaka is optional, but these are things that give extra flavor to your food. You'd also be needing salt, of course, because you're not going to be using all the spices like onga, maggi, and all of that. It's not like some people do not use all-purpose seasoning or maggi, but the original recipe or the local way it is made in the villages, they just use salt. And most importantly, you'll be needing this nylon. The safety of other types of nylon you have at home, which are not this white one, I cannot guarantee, but this particular one used to tie ugba or moi moi or whatever is pretty much safe. So these are all we're needing. The ratio of achicha to akidi, especially if you're using these seeds, or this, especially if you're not using the fresh type of akidi, the ratio of achicha to akidi is always bigger. So I'm using 3.5 cups of achicha, and I'm using 2.5 cups of akidi, and this is supposed to feed a family of 5 with extras if possible. First off, you want to start by removing stones from your akidi. You don't want to eat stone while eating this food. And after that, you want to transfer your achicha into a pot, a clean pot, and proceed to add hot water that you had previously boiled while you set your ingredients aside. Now this hot water is just going to help soften the achicha and give it some extra good texture after the meal is done. You also want to use cold water to dilute the hot water. This cold water is to enable you put your hand into the pot without feeling any sting. Now you want to grab your achicha from inside the water and squeeze off any excess water. You don't want it to be waterlogged because it's going to be very smushy if you leave it to soak so much water. So you're leaving this inside the water for approximately 3 minutes, and then you're putting it into the nylons and wrapping them up. Now you don't want to put so much in one nylon because you want it to cook evenly. You don't want to open the achicha after you're done cooking and realize that some parts inside are not properly done. So differentiate them and put them in as much nylons as you can. After putting the achicha in nylons, you want to proceed to parboil your akidi. You can choose to wash your akidi before parboiling or wash it after parboiling. This parboiling process helps to take off those chemicals that increase the cooking time and make it difficult for the akidi to get done. Next, you want to tie your achicha in nylons. Double up the nylons, because if you put them singly, they are going to burst up due to extreme heat, releasing the contents of the achicha into the hot water and making it extremely soggy during consumption or at the end of the meal. After this, you want to make sure that your rest of your ingredients are prepped already, your onions is cut and your pepper is fully blended, as well as your scent leaf on chow cut properly. Next, you want to transfer this into the pot after you must have rinsed off the hot water from the first parboiling process of the akidi. Do this into a sieve and then you can wash off any further just like you would after you're done parboiling rice, and after which you put it back into the pot, and this time you're going to be adding hot water as well that you had previously been boiling, just to continue the cooking process and get the akidi well done. Next, you want to add salt because you want this to have some taste. After adding salt and stirring, you want to add your achicha, which you are tied and doubled up in nylons, because you want the achicha and the akidi to cook together this time and get the achicha to be done so that it could taste better when they eventually mix together. Midway through the boiling and cooking process, you want to turn the sides of the achicha to make sure that they are evenly done. When this is done, you must have tasted the akidi to ensure that the akidi is done. You can tear up a nylon to test for the achicha and see if it's chewable and done. Once this is confirmed, you want to remove the achicha from the hot water and sieve off the extra water from the akidi. This process is optional. You can choose to mash some parts of the akidi just to make it not look so grainy when you eventually mixing. As I said, this is optional, you can skip. And after which you want to add your achicha into the mix of the akidi and then proceed to the next process, which is the most important part of this whole recipe: the onion, pepper, ugba, nchao or scent leaf saga. To hot oil, there is no fit found with this recipe. You need a lot of red oil, especially if you have a large amount of achicha and akidi. You want to add salt for taste. You must have added your pepper. If you want it spicy, do well to be very generous with pepper. Then you can add your ugba. I prefer to use the big one, but I didn't see, so I had to go with this tinier Ukpaka or ugba. Then you want to add your scent leaves. Of course, you don't want your leaves to overcook, so that's like the pretty much last thing you want to add. The next thing you want to add is the achicha and akidi, of course, and then you give this a mix. Mix it thoroughly. You want everything to combine together, and you want to test and adjust for more salt or grounded pepper if you feel it is not as spicy as you want it to be. After mixing, this is what it should look like. The aroma of native food should be scenting all over your kitchen, and this can serve as a very good nutritious meal to your family. Now, worthy of note, in place of the seed akidi, the ones that look like beans, if you use the fresh akidi, the ones you break that look like green beans, they taste even better. Some other people also use fio in place of akidi. Now tell me, would you be trying this recipe for your family? It is really healthy. My family enjoyed it, and I'm sure your family will do too. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow for more content.